I gave Smith & Wesson their chance to fix this. It came back with a new problem, and it is an internal functional problem that could cost you everything in a defensive shoot. Hey everyone, I'm Brett, and welcome to Nightwood Guns. Today we are looking at the Smith & Wesson Performance Center 640 Black. I love this revolver. It's exactly what I was looking for, but I am getting so frustrated with Smith & Wesson's quality control. I'm fed up. These aren't cosmetic issues that I'm dealing with, they're actual functional issues, and yes, I did send this back to Smith & Wesson. They fixed one issue, but another issue popped up. We will be talking about that, plus much more, including the features of this revolver, the things that I like about it, along with the things that I don't like and the issues that I had. A big thank you to one of the main sponsors of Nightwood Guns, DPM Systems, for bringing us today's video. They make recoil reduction systems for pistols, which is a plug-and-play recoil spring assembly. They have captured systems, adjustable systems. They soften the recoil impulse of your semi-automatic pistol's slide to keep your gun shooting soft, flat, and returning to zero gently. They make them for a bunch of different pistols. I run them in most of my semi-automatic handguns. If you want to pick one of these up for any of your pistols, be sure to check them out. And on their site, be sure to enter my channel name, -guns, to save yourself some dough. Now hopping right into the review of the Smith & Wesson 640 Performance Center Black, we are looking at a 5-shot 357 Magnum J-frame revolver, and if you're unfamiliar, this is a J-frame, this Model 66 is a K-frame, this 681 is an L-frame, and this 29 is an N-frame, and it goes up to X-frame with the 500 Smith & Wesson Magnum, the 460, but the J-frame is their smallest offering and is typically relegated to pocket carry or ankle carry, but the 640 is pretty heavy for its size, coming in at 23 ounces in this tiny package. This is not something you would want to be flopping around on your ankle or weighing down your pocket. This is pretty much going to be a belt carry J-frame only, and then the question becomes, why would you want that? We'll get into that in a moment, but first I want to go over the rest of the features on this guy. It's got just over a 2-inch barrel, and since it's a performance center, it's got some flutes in there so that you know it looks cool. It is hammerless, double action only, with no internal lock. Thumbs up, Smith. It has real full-size, honest-to-God, dovetail cut sights on here. That is a 3-dot tritium night sight setup. The cylinder is cut for moon clips, which is a nice performance center touch. And of course, black in the name of the gun is indicative of its black Cerakote finish. And that's likely what most people will be interested in this offering for, is its black finish. No glare, no shine. Much more discreet, and let's be honest, it looks pretty cool. I do want to say that the Cerakote finish is holding up extraordinarily well on this. This is actually something I got wrong in my review of the 586 L Comp. I thought this had a black Cerakote finish. No, this is a matte blued finish. The black Cerakote is holding up much better than this matte blue finish. The matte blue finish on the 586 L Comp definitely is getting some holster wear, and you can see the turn line there is silver, so it's the stainless steel underneath the finish. Whereas I have had this thing in and out of the holster many times. It has no finish wear on there. They painted this Cerakote on thick, but evenly. It's expert application, and it certainly has a turn line, but the turn line is black, so this Cerakote finish is sticking. This black Cerakote finish also makes for a completely rust-proof revolver. You can sweat all over this thing. You don't have to worry about it. Cerakote is very corrosion resistant. The only rust that I have on this is from this really cheap Uncle Mike's screw from the 90s, which that one's my bad. I should have put the screw in from the other way so I wasn't sweating on the screw head on the cheap metal. But hey, it's proof that I've spent a lot of time carrying this thing. Smith & Wesson also claims an upgraded trigger pull on this performance center. They claim it has enhanced double action trigger springs that make for a lighter and smoother pull. That hasn't been my experience, but okay. If that's the case, it doesn't make enough of a difference to move the needle or be particularly noticeable. So those were some of the features along with the positives. Now I'm going to answer the question, why would you even want a heavy J-frame chambered in 357 Magnum? Like I mentioned earlier, if you toss this thing in a pocket, yeah, especially something like a cargo pocket, the thing's gonna flop around while you're walking. Jacket pocket is even worse. It just weighs down one side of your jacket and flops around. If you put this thing on your ankle, it's heavy and uncomfortable and makes for an awkward gait. So that means this thing is for dedicated belt carry or maybe off-body carry. Personally, I carry mine in a Harry's holster Icon 2.0. This is my favorite perfect J-frame holster. It is simple, easy on and off, locks into your belt. It conceals extremely well, makes for a fast draw, and it is easy to reholster. But if you're going to be belt carrying a gun anyways, why would you gimp yourself with 5 rounds instead of carrying a micro 9mm that holds 10 or 12 or 13? Well, there are pretty much only 2 reasons. I'll list my preferred reason second in order to keep you in suspense. But the first reason is 100% guaranteed reliability in extreme close quarters. I am talking drool in your face, teeth biting your ear off, knife in your chest, grappling on the asphalt, desperate, last-ditch kind of fight for your life situation. Pressing your gun into an assailant, you don't have to worry about it going out of battery and not being able to fire. You don't have to worry about a hand on your gun. You fire one shot off, doesn't stop them, but then it doesn't cycle your gun, and you're fighting them off with one hand. You can't cycle your gun to get a second shot off with the other hand. But with this guy, you get 5 guaranteed shots, 5 chances to hit something important, and it doesn't make any excuses. No limp wrist malfunctions, no hollow points crashing into the feed ramp of your barrel. You can also shoot this thing 5 times guaranteed through an off-body bag, through a jacket pocket. And if concealability is a main concern, let's say you can't get made, the grip of a J-frame is much easier to hide than the grip of most semi-auto pistols, even micro pistols. The grip's going to be longer because it has to fit a magazine. But for me, those abilities of a revolver don't really outweigh the pros of a good semi-auto. With this Glock 43X with the PSA Dagger micro magazines, I'm getting 15 rounds, Radian Ramjet afterburner on there. This thing's got no recoil. Johnny Glock's trigger, I can run this thing fast and accurately. With proper technique and training, the red dot also gives you greater precision at speed. And on top of that, not that you need it, but it's a nice to have, you have the option for a weapon light. And of course, adding a weapon light has the bonus of preventing this from going out of battery when pressing it into something. It is extremely unlikely that I would ever limp wrist this thing, and Glocks are very reliable if you're gripping it properly. And when you're looking at a full stainless steel J-frame, yeah, the semi-auto is a little heavier with a fully loaded magazine. They're pretty close unloaded, but I mean, if you're carrying these on a sturdy belt or off-body anyways, then like, what does that even matter? So now comes the second reason you might want something like this, and it's the reason I bought this. And that is because this is a very concealable option that you can load up with pissin' hot ass blasters that do actually move the needle as far as performance goes. This is a belt-mounted, deep concealment option that is extraordinarily comfortable in something like a Harry's Holsters Icon 2.0. When I'm having a lazy day around the house, this is what I slap on my belt. And even though I only have 5 shots, it's 5 shots of 357 Magnum. But still, why get the heavier stainless steel 640 when you could still rock 357 Magnums out of a Scandium J-frame, a very lightweight, airweight gun? And that boils down to the management of the 357 Magnum recoil. This heavier stainless steel gun is much easier to shoot 357 Magnums out of than a Scandium frame. I have seen that Scandium J-frame and 357 Magnum split someone's web between their fingers open. Now, it still has a very mean bark in the stainless steel, but it's at least doable if you're a decently strong human. For example, the Scandium, I can maybe put a couple of cylinders through it and I'm done and my hand's got a little bit of a shake to it. But this steel frame, getting footage for this video, I was able to put 100 rounds through it in that one range day, no problem. Oh yeah, this sucker kicks still, but it is not practically ripping your hand off. And maybe someone would say, well, you know, if it's a self-defense situation, I can just eat the recoil, whatever. Dude, I'm thinking about follow-up shots, and I am much more effective with follow-up shots with the heavier gun. And of course, this also applies to shooting .38 specials out of it. If you're not someone who can handle the 357 Magnum recoil, which to be honest, it's gonna be more than a handful for most people. But running .38 specials out of this heavier steel frame gun is a much softer experience, again, easier follow-up shots than with a Scandium revolver. So if you're gonna be carrying it on your belt anyways, might as well take the heavier gun that shoots better. Not only that, we're also considering durability. For example, the Scandium has a limit on what grain bullet 357 Magnum you can put through it. The Scandium is an alloy and it's not going to hold up to as high of a round count as the stainless steel. In theory, this stainless steel revolver, the frame, the barrel, it is going to last a lifetime. When you start getting into the alloys, cracks can start popping up if you put extremely high round counts through them. So that's my philosophy behind getting this guy. It is a deep concealment hand cannon. I run the Barnes TAC XPD what is this, 125 grain rounds through here. These are screaming at 1200 feet per second coming out of a 2-inch barrel, which may seem comparable to like a Federal HST 124 plus P 9mm coming out of something like a Glock 43X, but it dumps its energy way faster. I mean, we're talking, what, like 16, 18 inches of penetration, and with this guy, like 12 to 14, somewhere in there. Not only is it dumping its energy fast, but that's happening because it expands to 3/4 of an inch in ballistics gelatin. These are a bit of a hammer smack and handful, but out of this steel frame 640, at the very least, it's actually doable. I am very confident in my marksmanship abilities with this gun, shooting those spleen splitters or whistling bungholes out of this thing. Before we hop into negatives, I'd appreciate your subscription if you are enjoying the video. If you're already subscribed, hit that like, thumbs up button, and drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think of the 640 Performance Center Black from good old S&W. Now that we're into negatives, I'm going to kick off with all the negatives of J-frames in general, right? You got the long, heavy double-action trigger pull. You're gimped with only 5 rounds. Unless you're rocking 32 H&R Magnum, in which case you're getting 6. At least this one has a proper set of sights, not that 3 white dots is my preferred setup, but at least they're real and dovetail cut, so they're adjustable. We're also looking at slow reloads. We have a very short, snubby ejector rod there, so it can be difficult if you're in a hurry and your support hand moves up a little bit. You transfer it over to your support hand for the reload. You can maybe miss pushing in the ejector all the way because your hand is blocking it. It can go that much further down. But the most important thing worth mentioning is that I would not trust my life with this revolver in its current state, and it has already come back from warranty service from Smith & Wesson. So the first time that I sent it in, it's because the trigger wasn't resetting all the time. It would just randomly get hung up on the reset and I have to put my finger behind the trigger and push it forward. This is a malfunction that would get you killed in the streets. Remember when I said one of the pros of a revolver is you have 5 guaranteed shots that are gonna go off no matter what? Not this one. So I sent it into Smith & Wesson, it was gone for a month, came back, and I was shooting it, not having any issues, thinking that it was fixed, and then I'm not kidding you, right when I was about to shoot this video, I unloaded the gun, dry fired it a few times, and as I was cycling it, the trigger got stuck to the rear. I couldn't pull it, I had to put my finger behind it and move it forward. Also in my videos, if I have a brain fart or if I flub a line or something, I'll just clear my head with a little bit of dry fire and then get back into it. And I'm gonna show you a compilation of all of the times that trigger sticking happened while I was shooting this video. And would you look at that, it just happened again. Oh my God. Oh, there it is. Oh, SpaghettiOs, guys. Okay, it just happened now the 3rd time tonight. The trigger again is stuck to the rear. Jeez. Now listen, canted barrels, sights popping off the gun. My 586 L Comp had a sticky cylinder that you would have to almost hit with a mallet to get it open. Dings, dents, scratches, or rust on a brand new gun. Yeah, those all suck, but you load up the gun and it will still go bang. But the trigger not resetting every time, sending it into Smith, getting it back, and the trigger sticking at the rear? Unacceptable for a defensive gun, especially a revolver that is supposed to work. I gave Smith & Wesson their chance to fix this. It came back with a new problem, and it is an internal functional problem that could cost you everything in a defensive shoot. And to me, the wildest part is my local shop had 3 of these in stock. I went through all 3 of them and picked the one with the least visible issues out of all of them. One of them was cosmetically dinged up, the other one had slow timing, and this one, looked it over, looked pretty good to me, trigger felt okay to me, until I took it out to the range. And that's why I'm mostly just scooping up the old Smith & Wesson revolvers nowadays. I'm not saying Smith & Wesson quality control was perfect back then, they've certainly had ups and downs, but it was night and day compared to what I'm seeing nowadays. And I'm only singling out Smith because it's a video on a Smith. Modern Rugers, I've been seeing quite a few quality control issues. Modern Colts, quite a few quality control issues. In this price range, Kimber is the one I see the fewest issues with. But despite their issues, Smith & Wesson is standing on the shoulders of giants when it comes to the designs of their revolvers. They have the best actions with lightning-fast resets. It's the easiest to shoot these competitively or at a defensive cadence. Ergonomics, aesthetics, and long-term durability over high round counts are all excellent when you get a good one, which makes Smith & Wesson the best rounded revolvers in this price range. I just want you guys to have informed consent. Get one at your own risk. If you get a good one, you're going to absolutely love it. It will be an heirloom piece that you can pass down to your kids. Smith can probably fix any issues with it, and if they can't, you got some guys like Nelson Ford at the Gunsmith Inc. that are still kicking that can get it sorted out. I know this one will be getting a spa day with Nelson because I really like this gun and I want it to work, and Smith apparently can't fix it. And I'm sorry, at 1,000 clams out the door for this thing, unacceptable, especially since it is a performance center premium offering. Smith, you have to do better. You have the designs, you have the legacy, but apparently you don't have the ability anymore. Dropping $1,000 on a performance center should not be a crapshoot. Don't forget to make sure you're subscribed, hit that like, thumbs up button, and most importantly, drop a comment down below. That is integral to the performance of a YouTube video. Let me know if your experience with Smith & Wesson revolvers mimics mine, or maybe I'm just the unluckiest guy on the planet when it comes to these. If you'd like to soften up the recoil of your semi-automatic pistols, don't forget to check out DPM Systems. And again, my channel name, minus guns, will save you some. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's video, everyone. It was great seeing you again, and I'll see you in the next video. I'm Brett, and this was Nightwood Guns. Nightwood out.